Today, boats, helicopters, and dogs searched Owl Creek for soldiers lost in the flood disaster at Fort Hood, Texas. A truck carrying a dozen troops was overwhelmed in a flash flood yesterday. Only 3 were rescued. It's been a terrible week in Texas. At least a dozen people have died in the state in historic flooding. Nearly 3,000 prison inmates also had to be evacuated.
Good afternoon. I am Rick Herron and I am the USAG Fort Riley Safety Director. I am at Training Area 10 at the low water crossing, and we're going to discuss the hazards associated with low water crossings and how the 13 low water crossing areas at Fort Riley are marked.
Hey Sergeant, what are those 2 poles on the side of the road?
Those are low water crossing gauges. That means this area floods when it rains. The gauges will tell us how deep the water is so we can make a decision on whether or not to go through it.
But can't we just look and tell how deep it is? Why do we need a gauge?
No, not really. Think about it like this. Water weighs about 62.4 pounds per cubic foot. Water tends to flow downstream at about 6 to 12 miles per hour. If we drive the vehicle through the water and it stalls, the water's momentum will then be transferred to the vehicle, and for each foot the water rises, 500 pounds of lateral force will be applied to the vehicle.
Well, what do you mean, Sergeant?
Okay, it's like this. Each foot the water rises up the side of the vehicle displaces about 1,500 pounds of water. That means the vehicle weighs about 1,500 pounds less for each foot the water rises.
So the deeper the water under the vehicle, the less it weighs, so the vehicle can actually start floating even if it's just less than 2 feet of water?
Right. The gauge has a red line on it at 2 feet. That tells us the water is dangerously high, meaning we should find another route.
So I hope what you learned this afternoon is useful. Remember, low water crossings are dangerous. Most vehicles can be swept away by less than 2 to 3 feet of running water. Do not try to cross a flooded road or a stream in your vehicle. Don't drown, turn around. Remember, be safe, be vigilant, arrive alive.